T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
Hey, did you guys think at this point in the season, week 4, there would be only 2 undefeated teams, and one of them is the Minnesota Vikings? We'll talk about that, plus lots of other noteworthy things, including deaths of Dikembe Mutombo, Pete Rose, and Chris Christopherson. But first, Hurricane Helene causes devastation across the southeast. Lugs, you have family in North Carolina. What's the latest? How are they doing?
Everyone's fine, thankfully. They're just trying to deal with the aftermath of the worst storm to hit there ever. 30 inches of rain, 24 hours, then dams breach and added trillions of gallons of water. It was like a tsunami hit my little town of Marshall, North Carolina. About half the town was washed away, essentially, the businesses. But everything is, people are coming to the aid of their neighbors. Food is being brought in. Only one roadway is open into that area of Marshall, and the other roads have bridges out, and it will take years to get all of this repaired, I'm sure. Asheville, I have friends there as well, and it's a mess in a particular area there called Biltmore, and the River Arts District, which is down by the French Broad River. That's where all the water went. So, again, most of those businesses, well, I don't know if it'll be most, but lots of them won't come back. But there are not that many people, not that many deaths in that area so far. So that's a positive note. But everybody's okay. FEMA's there. Aid agencies are there. Everyone's basically getting what they need at this point, as far as all my friends are saying.
All right, Godspeed to all those affected, and we wish them all the best. All right, let's move on to what we're all about, sports and other stuff. Back to football, the Vikings moved to 4-0, beating their archenemy, the Packers, in a classic NFC North game. T-Dog, who had the Vikings on their bingo card at 4-0 at this point? Wow.
Definitely not any of us. I know that much.
Nope.
Even with J-Boy being not even a closeted, a kind of half Bears, half Vikings fan.
Half baked.
So,
half baked.
Half baked.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it has to be attributed to Sam Darnold. It's not that maybe we didn't think he would play well in this system. I don't think any of us thought he would play this well in this system. And I think. Again, a lot of it comes down to play design. The first touchdown to Jordan Addison, it was a great where they got the safety to bit on Justin Jefferson's presence. And then even the second touchdown, which didn't really involve Sam Darnold except handing the ball off, it was Jordan Addison on an end around where, again, it was a good block on the edge, and he got to the end zone. And that's just what they've been doing. I mean, they got up, I believe, 28-0 in the beginning of the game. And a lot of it, the other wrinkle that I didn't know would happen, and obviously he has to stay healthy, so it's not that we don't believe in him. And they can't give him as much work as they gave him, but I understand it was a revenge game for him. Aaron Jones, I believe, had 22 carries for 93 yards rushing and 46 yards receiving. But he is the missing piece on that offense. O'Connell's offense has always been a great passing attack, but they were imbalanced. Now, with him and Ty Chandler has actually developed and become a better running back behind Aaron Jones. So they have this, and then you factor in also some of the key pieces, either in, drafting the edge rusher from Alabama, or, bringing in Greenyard and Van Ginkel for pass rush. Their defense has gotten better. And for the Green Bay Packers, even though they lost, the one thing I'll give them is Jordan Love coming off of what could have been a very severe injury. I mean, he looked rusty. Obviously, he had 3 INTs. But some of those passes he unleashed in the second half were just absolutely unreal, particularly his last touchdown pass to Dontavian Wicks. It was a 17-yarder. It split the defenders. There are not that many quarterbacks can make those throws. So they're not only going to be fine, they're in contention to win the division, and they're definitely still a team that has legitimate Super Bowl aspirations by some of the things that are really kind of building in Green Bay.
Lugs, did you see Aaron Jones did the Lambeau leap as a Viking? Whoa, that had to hurt. That had to hurt.
Yeah, well, revenge is revenge. But that was a good game to watch. It was very interesting. And I got to say, I was one of those folks, I was not high on Sam Darnold, but he truly has landed in a place that plays to his strengths and doesn't try to get him to do stuff that he can't do. He has a strong arm. In the old days, I questioned some of his decision making, but I think that with that offense and that design, he has reads that just tick, 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 and he throws. And plus, come on, Justin Jefferson. Hey, I believe I could complete a pass to Justin Jefferson.
Whoa,
Come
whoa,
on now.
Whoa.
Well,
Whoa.
maybe in a parking lot.
Didn't you have that rotator cuff surgery? Didn't you have that? Or is that cuff? I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mine was a cup. It was a teacup. So.
Well, okay.
But, interesting weekend.
Yeah, take it away.
The games that I watched, I loved the Washington-Arizona game.
Oh, man.
I have not seen a team like Washington. Is Jaden Daniels, he has to be the C.J. Stroud of this season. Everything they did worked. It was crazy. And Arizona just looked I don't know what to make of them. They're just so inconsistent. But give it to even the defense for the Commanders. They sacked Kyler, who's usually pretty elusive. They sacked him 4 times. So, but I enjoyed that game. It was cool to see. And I poo-pooed Washington for their, what their win-loss record would be this year. I don't know. They may win this thing if Dallas doesn't get themselves another receiver or something. So, what do you think, dog?
In that game, the one thing that you got to give credit to the Commanders, and this is any team that, particularly early on because they don't do as many practices as they do, is the one thing you got to give credit to the Commanders. And even though I know I'm harsh on them, I'm still not a fan of Cliff Kingsbury. They have a good foundation on what their offense is. They're built around the run, and built off of that, they can develop the passing game. And, with Daniels, he entered the league as probably the 3rd best rusher in the league. Maybe you want to dispute if he's higher or lower than that. I'd say Lamar and Justin Fields are maybe 1 and 2 in that area. Maybe Jaden Daniels above them, but he's at least in that stratosphere as a top 3 guy. He had 47 yards rushing yesterday and a touchdown run. Brian Robinson, he was a great draft pick a few years ago for them, and he just never got the chance to be what he is this year. He's a legitimate 3-down back who's rugged. He's not the fastest, but he can break a few tackles. And Eckler, even though he missed his game, I think he still has something left in the tank and gives him a good pass catcher. And again, with the Chargers, he was good in the red zone. Like he could find holes and slip through them. And, we got to give credit to also their 3rd running back, Jeremy Nichols. He had 68 yards rushing and 2 TDs. So a lot of that does tell you, that is good coaching. That is an offensive line that was much maligned. They came together. And based off that, then Daniels can, unleash his passing attack where, these last 2 weeks, I'm glad they finally got Terry McLaurin involved. Hopefully he and Jay Daniels can have, a great career together. And like you said, Lugs, you got to give credit to the defense too. Kyler was bottled up by 142 yards passing and a TD. He has to though beat up on these bad teams. He can't play like that. He has 3 games this year already where his yards per pass attempts is below 7 yards. That's understandable for rookie quarterbacks for the most part, not for a guy who's entering year 6. So I do have to put a little stink on Kyler, even though I like him. Like he has to play better. I know he was missing Trey McBride, his safety blanket, but he has to play better.
Lugs, I say the Chiefs are just finding out ways to win. You'd probably say, they don't win very well. What do you say about the Chiefs at 4-0?
Well, it's a second season where they're winning close games. Basically, it's almost like their formula. It's like you never feel like they're out of it, even though they may be down a couple of scores. I'm impressed. I am. Obviously, Mahomes is the centerpiece of all that, but the Chiefs' defense, by and large, front to back, that's a good defense. They're not allowing people to run the score up much. Impressive that they're with, Rashid Rice, that's going to hurt. Now, I heard some rumors that Adams from the Raiders are trying to shop him. So maybe Kansas City could get Devontae Adams. That would be an interesting to replace Rashid. They've been known to do some finagling money dealing. I'm not sure they have the cap space for him, but they're going to need to brighten up that offense again, but they've done it.
T-Dog, do you think it's theirs to lose the AFC West? They've already got a 2-game lead on everybody, 4 games into the season. Yeah.
I'm not worried about them in the AFC West. They just took out their only legitimate contender for the crown in the Chargers, who unfortunately, before this game even happened, they're down their 2 best offensive players besides Justin Herbert, that being their tackles, Slater and Alt. They're out probably for extended periods of time. So, can the Chargers weather the storm? I know they're on bye next week. I don't know. Herbert, for having a high ankle sprain and just not having protection against one of the top defenses the last few years in the Chiefs, is admirable. And again, I still believe Harbaugh has his team going in the right direction. Ladd McConkey kind of showed out. And I guess, swiveling back to the Chiefs, though, do they have a real chance at a title? Kind of. I mean, with their defense, and obviously Kelsey's going to have to bear the burden. I mean, a lot of people like Kelsey was really kind of, underplaying the first few weeks. It was really because Rashid Rice had taken over, the areas in which Travis Kelsey won, and it actually was going to help him long term because Kelsey could be used more on the stretch run and the playoff run. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I know they kind of did it last year, but they had Rashid Rice with Travis Kelsey. Xavier Worthy, I know maybe can be this year's Rashid Rice. I mean, he's definitely different. That he doesn't work in the same ways. They could trade for Devontae Adams, but they have to be willing to give up a second-round pick, and I don't know what their cap situation is. I mean, there has to be some guy they can trade for who's half decent. I just don't see some of the names that they have going on, and they're down Pacheco, and I mean, I don't even know when he's going to come back. They already lost the Hollywood Brown for pretty much the whole season and probably the postseason. So, this was an offense that – the thing that's sad is this was an offense that looked like it was maybe going to have the best of both worlds. The offense of the early Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, with the addition that this defense had become. But it looks like it's going to be – if they do repeat, it'll be same as last year with possibly less offensive ceiling.
Yep, I gotcha. So, T-Dog, you had a topic you wanted to cover. Your scariest 2-2 team at this point. There are a bunch of 2-2 teams. Lugs, who's your scariest 2-2 team you think could do some serious ass damage?
You know what? I'm going to go with Denver. just because I'm a contraire.
Denver. I love that, though. They had a good win this week. That's true.
and they got to rub Aaron Rodgers' nose in it.
Ooh.
I loved that. He was so, you could tell he was miffed in that press conference. And by the way, the Jets have to go to London to play the Vikings, so that's going to be an interesting, that could be a Sam Darnold revenge game. We seem to have all these revenge games.
There are. You're right.
But I do like Denver. They're not great. Bo Nix hasn't played up to his potential as far as I'm concerned, but he is learning. So I want to just go way out there. It's a hot take. Denver. Who you got, dog?
This is a very hot take. I'm probably going to have the same one. I mean, I can't predict it. J-Boy's crystal ball, but I probably have the same one. I'm guessing. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's the Packers. I think, just how well they were coached when Jordan Love was out for 2 games, and they took on a very good team in the Vikings with their quarterback just coming back from injury. And then once he kind of got the rust off, he threw 4 touchdowns, and I believe he wasn't even sacked. My bad. There was one sack. He was sacked once by. I think the Vikings are leading the league in sacks. So, they have a lot of things going their ways. And if Green Bay had a kicker, there's a good chance they won that game. And I'm sure they're going to remedy that, if not this week, in a few weeks from now, getting some veterans. So, yeah, they lost, but I think still a lot of things around the Packers have them being, to me, the most dangerous 2-2 team out there.
The Packers. No, they are not. It's the Baltimore Ravens. Come on, La Marvelous. Here's the thing about that. I think Derrick Henry is just getting warmed up. And remind me the name of that 300-pound fullback who leads the way for him. Anyway.
It starts with an R.
Yeah, it does. Starts with an R. Yeah. Richter, Rozier. No.
Ricard.
Yeah, I think you got it, Ricard. Wasn't he on Star Trek, Patrick Ricard?
Well, luckily for all the hard work, he did score a touchdown. Yeah. So, it was a fumble, but he did score a touchdown.
Because I think that beatdown, a little bit of a beatdown on the Bills this week, and I thought, whoa, that Lamar is stepping up. They're getting finally the wheels greased, and Derrick Henry's clicking. I don't know. That's a scary team to me. That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, Lamar was impressive, I'd have to say, from the pocket for a change. He had a couple of runs but he was putting the ball right where it needed to be. It was pretty amazing considering, how people have downplayed his pocket passing.
All right, look, can you hit us with those sports of yesteryear? You got that queued up and ready to go?
I can.
Go.
We're ready to go. All right, 1903, first baseball World Series game ever played. Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Boston Americans 7-3 at Huntington Avenue. Jimmy Sebring hits his first home run. Deacon Felipe is the winning pitcher, and get ready, Cy Young, yes, the man whom the award for Best Pitcher of the Year is named, lost that game. 1932, Babe Ruth's legendary call. Lambasted and jeered by players in the Cubs dugout, the Bambino points to center field, and according to baseball lore, homers into the Wrigley Field bleachers in the 5th inning, securing a Game 3 World Series win for the hated Yankees. 1955, Baltimore Colts fullback Alan Amici becomes the first rookie in NFL history to top 100 yards rushing in each of his first 2 games. Amici debuted with 194 yards against the Chicago Bears, then followed up with 153 yards against the Detroit Lions. 1967, NASCAR driver Richard Petty continues his phenomenal winning streak by taking the Wilkesboro 400 for an unprecedented 10th consecutive victory, something that has never been repeated. Finally, 1975, in the fight billed as the Thrilla in Manila, Muhammad Ali stops Joe Frazier in the 14th round in Philippines to retain his WBC, WBA heavyweight title. That's it for this edition of Sports of Yesteryear.
Thank you, Lugs. Yeah, that man there, Joe Frazier. I was at that Cubs game when the Bambino hit that home run. He pointed, I saw it, and that was good. And the Yankees go on to win. And don't we all hate the Yankees? Oh, wait. We have a couple of fans who like the Yankees. I forgot. All right. And it's playoff season. We'll talk about that later. Hey, let's talk about college football. Lugs, an instant classic. Well, maybe not. Alabama, Georgia, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Big crowd. What the heck happened there to Georgia? What happened?
Well, now, the first half, Jalen Milroe had a definite Heisman winning first half. But I got to give it to the coaches at Georgia. When they went in at halftime, they changed some things around. Milroe didn't get to run wild anymore. And Carson Beck, who had just a pitiful first, second, and third quarter, came back in the fourth and sort of redeemed himself. The 3 interceptions, that really hurt Georgia. But overall, yeah, it's a classic game. And right up until that throw at the very end, it was in doubt. I love that Williams kid, the 17-year-old, to do the juggling act and then just spin out and is gone.
17 years old. 17!
Well, that's the thing, is that's 2 different plays. He had the one where he beat the safety downfield, and he was able to essentially volley it to himself and then catch it and then get some yards. But yeah, when the game was on the line, the ball was underthrown by Milroe, who was great, by the way, in the whole game. But like, he underthrew it to Ryan Williams, but Ryan Williams was able to snag it a little low on a pirouette. And then as 2 defenders were converging on him, he did another pirouette where he spun out of it. And then he was able to take it down the sideline and score a touchdown. And it was a great game. Like you said, Beck came back from just not really doing anything. And I know he had the pick at the end, but it was what college football at its best is about, is what that game was. So
I personally think this weekend the pro game took second fiddle to the college game. I was totally impressed with of course I love college football to begin with.
No.
But you were at the Indiana game. Let me just tell us a little bit about how the fortunes have changed for the boys from Bloomington.
No kidding. 5-0. T-Dog.
I'll try to keep this brief. Kirk Sanity, the main thing is you could tell that, and he said it in a press conference, they don't have this is our system, we're going to do it. I mean, they definitely have a system, but they devise plays for their opponent for that week, which is what top tier coaches do. They devise their offense and defense around what their opponent is strong at and weak at. And they have enough talent in terms of wide receivers, running back, and Rourke to take advantage of it. And then they have guys like Aiden Fisher on their defense, that they have dial up. I mean, I worry about depth of their players on the defensive line and offensive line, maybe to make a strong run at the end. But as long as they stay healthy, they're going to be a tough out, particularly if you kind of look at their schedule coming up. I mean, they have some of the big boys at the end, Michigan, Ohio State, but they have Northwestern next week, and then they have a bye, and then they have Nebraska, who's not going to be easy coming at home. But, they have a chance at winning I don't know how many games. There's never been a 10-win season. I'm not saying they're going to have a 10-win season, but, I've never had the belief that they have. I have a belief that it's possible this year, and I don't know if I ever would have said that.
But T-Dog, grab a hold of yourself, man. They're 5-0 and in first place in the Big 12, which is Big 10, misspoke, which is now 18 teams. What the heck? That's crazy.
The main thing is, even though they have yet to play like a top tier team, I would say, then definitely Western Illinois. I'm not even counting. I know they put up 77, but it's FCS school. But they are doing what teams that are at least average or slightly above average are doing. When they're taking on teams, they're beating them down. I mean, they beat Maryland worse than the 14-point win than they did. Like Maryland had a prevent offense touchdown to take it to 14 instead of 21. So,
all right, well, go Hoosiers, Crimson and Cream. No, is that them? Crimson and Cream?
Yeah, Cream and Crimson.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I got it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Hey, let's just talk real quick. We got about 4 minutes left. Deaths this week: Chris Christopherson, Pete Rose, Dikembe Mutombo. Kind of a mixed-up group, but notable people in their own way. Lugs.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just quickly say Chris Christopherson, one of the best songwriters who ever lived, a decent actor. Dikembe was always fun to watch him wag that finger at people when he stopped them. And Pete Rose, okay, let's cut the nonsense now, put the man in the Hall of Fame. Let's just go ahead and do that. Those are my quick takes.
My quick takes. I won't hit on some of the other ones. I will say Dikembe Mutombo also, after he left, he became a great ambassador to the world in all his work as essentially making the world a better place and being a diplomat to some degree. And also, I want to give a rest in peace to also Maggie Smith. I know it was a little earlier than that, but great.
The Dowager.
Great actress who had a great career, and kind of like, I know this is coming off disparaging. It's not like, when I saw that she died and she was only 89, I thought she was older just because for so long she played older roles. It's like Wilford Brimley. Like I feel bad for her that she started playing such older roles that she actually was. It felt like the last 30 or 40 years of her career, she played the grandma or matriarch of like some foundation. But rest in peace, Maggie Smith.
Yes, and as she famously said on Downton Abbey, "What's a weekend?" Remember that? She said, "What's a weekend?" All right, that's going to bring to a close this edition of Sports and Other Stuff. New sponsor this week, Hank's Auto Body, home of their exclusive dust-proof spray booth. If you got a dent or it's just plain vent, come to Hank's Auto Body. And, oh gosh, there's a guy we know there. He's working there tonight. What's his name?
Fish. This week, to begin his annual month-long celebration of Halloween, Fish gets his zombie on. Since October 3rd and 68, George Romero's low-budget classic Night of the Living Dead debuted. This Saturday at 1 p.m., Fish will kick off the haunting season with a trick-or-treat fandango. All zombiophiles come on down in costume or not to enter or judge a zombie makeup contest. Admission is $20 with a special meal of brain soup, which is actually tomato and corn concoction, combined with mozzarella cheese toast. This day is topped off with a special showing of Night of the Living Dead introduced by the star, Judith O'Day. So come on down.
Brain soup, it's so good. Yum, yum. All right, that's our program for this week. Join us again next week for Sports and Other Stuff. So long for now.